Luneblaze. Thank you for introducing me. So good evening to all the wonderful educators present here today. So it's always been a pleasure to connect with such a dedicated group of educators who are not just teaching minds, but also shaping future. So we all know that education is evolving, and it's educators like you who are open to growth, collaboration, and innovations are making the real difference. So thank you for taking the time to be here. And I look forward to your active participation, reflection, and insights throughout the session. So let's keep this space interactive, energized, and full of learning. So feel free to use the chat, or you can unmute when invited. So because your voice matters. So let us begin. So have you heard about SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, and how it is connected to education? Have you all heard about this Sustainable Development Goals? Educators. Okay. And how it is connected to education, the school education? Okay, I could get the answers in the chat box. Okay, yes, ma'am. Mohita Jain is saying yes, ma'am. And can you tell me how it is connected to education, school education? So I know that all the educators here know about SDG, but how it is connected to education? Yes, quality education is one of the SDG. Very good. Yes. So as rightly pointed out, to provide the basic quality education by Ganesh sir. Okay, yes. Yes, so as we all know that in 2015, the United Nations adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals as a universal call to action to end poverty, to protect the planet, and also to ensure peace and prosperity for all by year 2030. And if you look at the 17 goals, goal 4, that is the quality education, is at the center of all the goals, because education is the enabler of better health, gender equality, economic growth, climate action, and peaceful societies. So hence, the SDGs remind us that education isn't just a local duty, it's a global mission. And the mission begins in school. So the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework by CBSE is India's local response to this global vision. So this is what is SDGs talking about quality education. Can we move to the next slide? So what exactly CBSE is talking about quality, school quality assessment and assurance framework is all about ensuring the quality of education in school through a structured and thoughtful approach, just like how we bring improvement in the schools. So that is what the CBSE SQAAF framework is talking about, to bring the quality education in our schools through a structured and thoughtful processes. So if you look at the SQAAF is a tool that helps you to recognize where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there. So all while keeping students' learning outcome at the center of your activities. So this tool, the SQAAF tool, is designed for a credibility, not just a checklist, but to gather real evidence-based insights from the school's activity, what we do. So that it is not just a checklist to tick box and cross the boxes, but it is a credibility tool. Its objective is to reflect and take data-driven decisions. So whatever we maintain in the school, based on that data only, the objective is being decided. and it is a very much implementable tool. It is a doable tool in the school. So it acts as a self-assessment tool that is benchmarked to global standards, that is internationally recognized, but still deeply connected to our local context. So this tool is not just about meeting the standard, it's about raising our own bar. So it's all about building schools that reflect the best of what's possible for our educators, for our communities, and most importantly, for our students. So let's prepare ourselves for the SQAAF self-assessment, not to just find out flaws, but also to reflect on our own school potentials. So with this, let's move on to the next slide. So let us recall now the 7 areas of school quality framework. So now that you have understood what is the intent behind SQAAF, so let us dive deeper and look into the anatomy, the 7 key domains that form the foundation of school quality under this framework. So each of these domains represent a critical pillar of what makes a school a truly high quality, inclusive, as well as future ready school. So if you look at this table, there are 7 domains for the CBSE inspection, or which are defined under the SQAAF framework. So first domain is curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment, and it becomes the heart of the framework because it answers the questions like what is taught, how it is taught, and how it is measured. So that's why this domain, curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment, carries the highest weightage, that is 40%, and it has 7 subdomains with 26 benchmarking statements. Next, we have infrastructure, resources, and learning environment. And this domain focuses on where learning happens. Are the learning spaces safe, inclusive, and technology enabled in our schools? So this domain will take care of it. And it has 10% weightage with 12 sub areas and 20 standards. Next, we have the third domain, which is the human resource. And this domain focuses on the recruitment, professional development, wellness, performance appraisal, and motivation of the staff. And it has 10% weightage with 5 subdomains and 10 quality standards. Fourth domain is inclusive practices, where no child is left behind. And this domain ensures equity, accessibility, and diversity in all practices, from admission to the classroom instruction and the school culture. And it has 10% weightage with 5 subdomains with 7 benchmarking statements. Fifth domain is management and governance. So it has 10% weightage, 10 subdomains with 10 benchmarking statements. And this domain promotes reflective data-driven management. Our sixth domain is leadership. And this domain assesses how the school leadership engages in strategic planning, ethical decision-making, and shared responsibility. It's about leading with purpose and managing with clarity. And this domain of SQAAF has 10% weighted with 3 subdomains with 5 benchmarking statements. And the 7th domain is beneficiary satisfaction with 10% weightage. And this domain encourages schools to collect and act on feedback from students, parents, teachers, and other stakeholders. So that when we get feedback from these stakeholders, we constantly improve our school experiences, our educational experiences. So together, these 7 domains form the backbone of SQAAF. And with these 7 lenses, every school can reflect, grow, and truly thrive for excellence. Next. Next slide. No. So we often hear the word leadership, isn't it? So, but in the context of school, what does it really mean to be a leader? So I'd like to, I want you to think for a moment and reflect. What is school leadership? What does school leadership mean to you personally and professionally, and why leadership is important? Can I have some your insights in the chat box? Share your thoughts in the chat box. Yes, educators, leaders. Okay, Renu Bala has raised her hand. Are you allowed to talk, Renu Bala? Team? Ma'am, you can type your answer in the chat box. Inspiring. Okay, Kalyani Dikshit. Inspiring and what else? Inspiring problem solving. Yes, leadership is a problem solving. It is a inspiring. Yes. Let me have more inputs. Let me hear from other leaders. A school head, management who can take decision and make the learning a pleasant journey. Yes. Yes. Guidance and responsibility by someone to run educational program in a smooth way. Very good, Sujata ma'am. Okay. Can I have two more answers in the chat box? A guide, a mentor, motivation, problem solver, encouraging team members to perform at their best. Yes. It's encouraging. Yes. Goal setting, ability to guide and motivate individuals. Very good. Leader is someone who guides, influences, and inspires others, students, teacher, parents, and other community members. Very good. Yes, so wonderful insight. So your uh, understanding, someone who is a part of solution, lead with example. Yes, it's a role model, gives direction to the team. Excellent ideas, excellent thoughts. So all of you has some other understanding about what leadership is. Is a director. Okay, it's a director. Okay, it's a director of the entire school show. Very good. Good work. So everybody has some or the other understanding what leadership means. Some are saying it is that leaders has a vision to set up goals. It's a director. It's like a role model. It's encourages team. It's a motivator. It's a mentor. It's a coach. So all these are leadership qualities, and this is what you have interpreted. Yes, the leadership is all about this. Very good insights. Thank you so much for all those perspectives. Now let us connect your thoughts to these working definitions of what is leadership and why leadership is important. So as you see on the screen, leadership refers to the ability of the school leaders to set a clear and inspiring vision, promote a culture of collaboration and inclusivity, and ensure effective decision making and accountability, and drive continuous improvement in all aspects of school functioning is what the leadership is. So all your points, whatever your perspectives about leadership means, what leadership is all about: setting goals for the vision of the school, have a collaborative efforts in the school, which includes which all the stakeholders are included, so that it becomes a effective and decisions are taken collaboratively to improve schools performance, and it is accountability goes to the head of the school to, so that they are responsible for the continuous improvement of the school functioning, every aspect of the school functioning. So it is all not just about being in charge, but it's about creating condition where teachers can teach effectively, students can thrive, and entire school community can grow. And why leadership is important? Why leadership matters so much in the school? Because it shaped the school's vision and direction. It drives academic excellence through strategic support and monitoring. It fosters a positive, inclusive, and safe environment for learning, and it also supports and empowers teachers to grow professionally. It builds trust among parents, students, and the community. And most importantly, it ensures that every child has the opportunity to succeed. And these opportunities are created in the school through the leadership direction. So leadership is not about authority, it's about influence, vision, service, and responsibility. So the school leaders are like a compass. So the way they lead directly affects the culture, the climate, and the success of your school. So just like how the captain leads the team, school principals and administrators must provide that vision, direction, and guidance to ensure smooth operations and quality education in the school. And that is why the leadership is very, very important in the school. And if you look at this domain, the leadership domain, this leadership domain is responsible for other domains, which we have, which the SQAAF is recommending. The other five domains, other six domains are all the responsibility of domain 6, that is the leadership. Yeah, let's move. So now we know leaders are the captains of the schools who leads and direct the team. So let me ask you the question. So which quality most differentiates a transformational school leader from a traditional manager? So we have 4 options. Follows standard operating procedures and reports strictly to higher authorities. Maintains stability by avoiding experimentation and curriculum changes. Inspired, inspire shared purpose, build capacity and drives adaptive learning systems, and focuses mainly on logistical issues and avoids pedagogical decision making. So these are the 4 options. I want you to type your correct option in the chat box. So Kalyani Dikshit already has typed, and according to her, C is the correct option. Okay. Okay. Most of them are saying that C is the correct option. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Let's have some few answers. So most of you are saying, almost all are saying yes. C, inspire shared purpose, building capacity and drives adaptive learning system is the correct option for the transformational school leader. So it is, as you see that this option is about transformational leadership, which is marked by the shared vision and empowerment, adaptability, and pedagogical focuses. So all these qualities that drive, which drives the long-term school improvements. Yeah. So most of you all are correct. Excellent. Big round of applause for all of you. Thank you so much for those answers. Good. Okay. Okay, now let's move on. Okay. So we have seen that leadership isn't just about being the boss or making decision from the top. Leadership in school is more than that. And leadership is, school doesn't look the same all the time. So a school leader has to play different roles depending on the need. Some days leaders are like a coach, some days they are like a planners, and sometimes even a learner. So for domain 6, there are 3 interrelated subdomains that define how school leadership translates vision into day-to-day actions. So first is leadership, pedagogical leadership. Second is collaborative leadership. And the third interrelated subdomain for leadership is systems for ongoing quality and change management. So these are the three important interrelated subdomains for the main domain, leadership. So let us explore now all these three subdomains. So if we look through the lens of SQAAF standards, pedagogical leadership is at the heart of school improvement. So it means the school leader is not just a manager, but a learning leader. So the standard which is defined by the SQAAF for leaders to be a pedagogical leader is to build the intellectual and the professional capital of the teachers. So also leaders have to ensure that teaching practices are aligned with the school's goals and that there is a clear direction for the students' learning and school improvement. So this is the standard which is defined under pedagogical leadership. So pedagogical leadership is important to look at the improvement of TLA of the school, teaching, learning, and assessment of the school. Next is the collaborative leadership. So leadership isn't meant to be done alone. So that's why the SQAAF has designed the second subdomain, that is collaborative leadership. And the standard for collaborative leadership is about creating a culture where decisions are co-created, where staff feel ownership, and where leadership is distributed. So collaborative leadership engages shared intelligence to co-create learning institutions. So it is not that the leaders is taking decision, it is about a collaborative leadership qualities of a top leader. Then next we have the SQAAF third subdomain, which focuses on building sustainable systems for continuous improvement. So the first standard defined by the SQAAF under this subdomain, that is systems for continuous improvement, that is for the change management, is the school leaders fosters a climate that supports the achievement of learning outcome. So it is creating a conducive culture in the school for students' learning, for everybody's learning. Let me give you an example. Suppose a school leader or a school principal regularly analyzes assessment data across all grades to identify gaps in students' learning. Then this leader notices weak conceptual understanding in middle school science, and to see this, to address this weakness of the school, what the leader has to do, it has to arrange some subject-specific workshop, add some weekly peer teaching sessions in the school, day-to-day functions, and also invite some external expertise in the school so that they give the science teacher a hands-on demonstration how to teach the science subjects in the class with concept clarity. So this will build a learning culture where progress will be visible. And as a result, the students' performance and the teacher's confidence will improve. So this example shows how how a leader intentionally creates system and support for the professional development, for how the data is being used to make a visible progress tracking, and that will lead to improve students' learning outcome. So this is what a leader, the standard which is defined under building a sustainable system for continuous or the change management, is fostering a climate of learning in the entire school, means creating that conducive culture in the school, the learning culture in the school. That is the standard what the SQAAF is defined under the subdomain 3 of leadership. The second standard, which is defined under this subdomain, is the school leader demonstrate responsibility and accountability in building a culture of equity, inclusivity, and system thinking. Let me give you an example for this, how the leader demonstrates this responsibility and accountability so that it builds a culture of equity, inclusivity, and as well as the system thinking. So suppose a leader notices that the students with learning difficulties aren't performing well and rarely participates in school events. So this is what a general observation by the leaders in the school. So in this response, if a leader sets up a student support cell, so this leader want to include everybody in the school activities. When they found this challenge, that the students with learning difficulties are not actively participating, as they're not performing in the school programs or the school activities or the classroom activity. So for that, a school leader sets a system so to as a student support cell where it includes the special educators, the counselors, and the parents representative. And also if the leader wants to modify assessments, so the leader also has a right to modify the timelines for the assessment for this student so that everybody is included, everybody is encouraged to participate. And even this will encourage encourage teachers also to modify their teaching practices in the classroom where the concept of differentiated instructions comes in the classroom. So this is all the system has been created by the school leader so that everybody, all the stakeholders, the students who are with learning difficulties participates in the school activity. And that will ensure the second standard, which is defined by the SQAAF for this subdomain of leadership. So this leadership, this leader, what it when it builds this kind of culture, so it's demonstrating the responsibility and accountability to bring the students up and ensures that these students also participate in the school activity. So in this way, the leaders can recognize diversity and hold accountable for equitable outcomes and integrate system thinking by linking academic, emotional, and social support to all the students and the teachers in the school. Under this subdomain also, there is a third standard which is defined by the SQAAF. So for this subdomain, the leaders are creating safe spaces for experimentation, encouraging students' agency and creativity, and preparing the school community to think beyond textbook, which is essential for future-ready classrooms. So this third subdomain, standard for this third subdomain is all about creating safe places, making students feel safe and secure to talk, to experiment, and also to create something innovative. So this is all about creating safe places for the students, learning spaces for the students so that they can create, experiment, and innovate. For example, so there was a school where the head of the school launched a monthly innovation lab hour in the school. So that there is a school which I know where the leader has launched a monthly innovation lab hour in the school, where students pitch their ideas for solving real life problems. They have done activities on like water wastage or food wastage in the school cafeteria or water wastage in the washroom. So this was some of the ideas where students came up with this, how to stop, how to not waste water or the food in the cafeteria. So one student gave a lot of ideas like let us have compost system. Some were saying let us design a app mobile app to track food wastage and all. So these were the ideas which the students have pitched in this innovation lab. And here again, the teachers were acting as a mentors and also not instructing them, but guiding them. Whatever the ideas the students were pitching, the teachers were acting like a mentors and guiding them. And so this was something where the school head has created so that students can speak, students can experiment and innovate in the school. Even for the teachers, I know that this principal has also started a fail forward club where the group of teachers meet and they share their teaching new strategies. And some of the teachers take risk to implement in the school, implement in their classroom and see how it is been creating some kind of thinking in the school. And that was again a very good initiative by that principal in the school, and where the teachers were coming forward and taking this initiative and trying to improve the TLA of the school. So this subdomain is talking about setting up systems and not just quick fixes. So this subdomain, systems for ongoing quality and change management, is all how the leaders are creating systems to address any challenges or address to track the progress of the school, and it is not just for the quick fixes. So effective school leadership is like a puzzle. It comes together through these three key subdomains: vision for teaching and learning, which is a pedagogical leadership; engage and empower teams, which is about the collaborative leadership; and a strong, equitable systems that keeps improving, which is all about change management, transformation leadership. Okay. Now let's move on to the next slide. Here we will explore, as we have explored the subdomains of leadership. Now let us take a look at some key leadership aspects that shape school culture, system, and learning outcomes. So strong leaders don't just fix symptoms. They identify patterns, they root causes for the long-term impact. So for effective leadership, first aspect is school leadership policy. So your school policy should not be a static document, but as a living framework that shapes every part of school ecosystem. So well-designed leadership policies prevent silos by aligning people, goals, and resources across the school system. So they clarify expectations, responsibilities, and decision-making structure. For example, suppose the school updates its assessment policy and wanted to shift from high-stake examination to project-based evaluation for this current academic year. So as a leader, the leaders have to realize that teachers need to be trained in formative and authentic assessment. So there has to be a policy. When the leader want to bring some changes in the process of improvement, so there has to have a policy document in the school. For example, the assessment change. The principal doesn't want to go to the high-stake examination with the summative assessment, but want a in between the formative kind of assessment. So in that case, there has to be a document where the leader is talking about how he will going to train the teacher for the formative assessment and authentic assessment. Students to experience lower, so how he will ensure that the students experience lower stress and deeper engagement. Parents has to be oriented for this new understanding of grading system. Timetables, if required, has to be reworked. And in timely, there has to be review and presentation of all these points which are included in the policies. So this way, you can have a first aspect for the leadership team is to have a school leadership policy in the school. So this policy change is one domain which is what which causes a ripple effect across the whole system, and that's the power and the responsibility of leadership through a system lens. So when a system is created in the school, if some small change also is made in the any working or the any functional activity of the school, it shows the effect, and to address those effects, this policies has to be created in the school. The SOPs has to be created in the school, whatever the change the leadership team wants to bring in the school for the betterment or the improvement of the school. Next is system thinking approach. So system thinking helps school leaders see the school as a living, interconnected ecosystem and not a collection of isolated parts. So it is as a whole. The school leader, she looks at the school as a whole and not in isolation. So every decision affects multiple people. So whatever the decision the leaders take, it affects multiple people, it affects the processes of the school, and also it will affect the outcomes. So that is what the leaders have to keep in mind when they are creating any kind of system in the school. So for example, a change is assessment policy, what I have shared in the previous aspect, will affect classroom practices, students' stress level, parents' expectation, and even staff development. So when students' voice is included in planning, it improves motivation, behavior, and academic performance. So this way, keeping these challenges in mind, a leader has to create a system in the school so that the stakeholders who are the part of this change are not affected, and the system runs smoothly, and it has to be monitored and tracked very well. Third aspect of leadership is building an inclusive culture. So a school included neurodivergent students in the annual day performance. Is this a inclusive school culture or inclusive school operation? When the special need children or neurodivergent students are included in the annual day performance, but not in a special event specially for them. Will this be an inclusive culture? Yes, Rashmi ma'am is saying yes. So when we have these divergent students in a classroom, so how we integrate in our regular classrooms without understanding that they are of a special need. So this is what a school leader has to keep in mind. So if you have a students with different needs, that they need special attention, so how is being integrated in the classroom? How the teachers redesign that classroom sitting, adopt instruction as per the students' need, and also revisit your discipline language or discipline policy. So that is all comes as a whole, and it is what a leader has to take care. So building a inclusive culture, which is not a separate program, it is embedded in your whole school system, and it shows up in teaching methods, your classroom layout, your celebrations in the school, the languages you use, and also your discipline policies. So this is what a leader has to take care of by building a inclusive school culture. The fourth aspect of leadership is about empowerment program for stakeholders. So in one of our school, which I know, the leadership team has created a teacher innovation grants. So this was a mini funding scheme where a teacher pitched small scale student centered projects. And there was another school who has implemented implemented and hosted a quarterly coffee with parents or a parents cafe. So this is again a co-design school improvement strategies where the principal or the head of the school or the leadership team of the school is looking at the empowerment program for all the stakeholders. So when stakeholders feel heard and enabled, they don't just follow the policy, they co-own it. And empower teachers, parents, influence attendance, then academic rigor, students' behavior, and even infrastructure use, and it is all connected. So empowered teachers, students, and parents are also the device for transformation in any of the school. The next aspect is about developing smart goals. So leadership without a clear direction is like a ship without a compass. So smart goals turn vision into strategy. So use data across departments. So across department, like you have academics, you have attendance data. Sometimes you have the behavioral data, the well-being of the children. So to develop, so that you have this data across these disciplines, so that you develop a cross-functional goals that reflect the whole system's health. So your school system or your school ecosystem shows how you're using the data to set your smart goals. And if is your academics, well-being, and operation and other multiple departments working in sync? So you know the data about this verticals or this areas. So you will have a clear idea how to have a vision or a goal for the improvement of your school. So let me give you an example. Suppose you set a goal to improve board exam results. Will be this a smart goal? If I said my goal is to improve board results, will this be a smart goal? Can I have your answers in the chat box? No. Rinku Jain, she's saying no. So what is a smart goal then? How we can reframe this? How we can reframe this? Sujata Kumari, no, yes, got it. So everybody has understanding what is a smart goal. So can anybody type in a chat box how we can make this goal a smart goal? For everybody, this is a kind of a vague goal, improve board exam results. But how we will make this goal a smart goal? Would anybody? Smart goal is achievement towards, okay, achievement towards what? Okay. How we can rephrase this vague goal as a smart goal? So if you state it as the increase class 10% of students scoring more than 90%, okay, you have the data, you have the measurement, okay. Improve classrooms, transaction and assignment having 100% percentage rate in exam, okay. Yeah, it may differ, the measurement differ. So SMART goal is about specific, measurement, achievable, relevant and time bound. Yes. So that we are going to cover in the later slides also. So if I look at this goal, improve board exam results, creating SMART goal in school setting helps objective oriented. Yes, good. Yeah. So if I want to make this goal, improve board exam result as a SMART goal, I would state it as increase class 10 board result by 10% by integrating monthly feedback loops, targeted peer tutoring, and parent coaching session. So setting this SMART goal, uh, you have using data across department, your teaching, your counseling, and as well as the parent outreach to achieve one unified goals. So if you want to achieve this goal, you have to reconsider the data from all these areas, all these departments. Next aspect is about leveraging resources from Startup India. So being a forward-thinking leader also means connecting with national opportunities. So as a leader, whatever the national opportunities are available, you have to get benefits from this, use those opportunities for the school improvement. So any idea about national opportunities? which the CBSE is initiating. It is about the Startup India. You must have heard about this. So we have some of the principals who have partnered with the local edtech startup through Startup India to launch a digital reading buddy program. Okay. So you are going to finish AI course through Startup India resources. Good, great. Okay. So let me give you an example how the principal of one of a school used these resources from Startup India. So this principal has partnered with the local edtech startup. It was a startup and edtech startup for the schools, which were designing educational tools. So through this Startup India, and they launched a digital reading buddy program. So through this partnering, through this collaboration, this principal and that startup, edtech startup, has started a digital reading buddy program in this principal school. So this improved the literacy rate, gave students a chance to test new tools and train teachers in adaptive tech. So this was the benefit seen in this school when the principal has partnered and collaborated with this edtech startup, where this leader was focused on improving the literacy skill of the student. So they launched a digital reading buddy program. So partnership like this are not just like an added responsibility for the principal, or like it's not like an add-on for the principal, but it has to be integrated with the curriculum goals, the teacher development, and the students' engagement, making that school ecosystems are more agile and future ready. So this each aspect what we have discussed about leadership, whether it is of inclusion, whether it is of empowerment or a goal setting, is a part of your interconnected ecosystem of your school. So leading effectively means seeing a big picture, understanding how parts affect the whole, and making intentional, sustainable decisions. So this is all these aspects when you consider for your school improvement, it will give you a bigger picture, it will give you a plan for your school improvement. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now there is a template which you can use to design a school leadership policy. So this is just a suggested template from our team. You can have your own ideas, but these are the basic elements which are required to design a leadership policy. So first thing is a policy overview, what policy you're making. So this policy overview will empower leaders to build a learning focused culture, drive sustainable school improvement, and nurture holistic school development. So your policy overview has to be there when you are developing a school leadership policy. Next, you will have the objective. Why you are designing this policy? What is the objectives? What is the aim? So the aim is to equip leaders with the skills and structure to respond effectively to current changes while preparing for the future. So once you have the overview, what policy you want to make, the overview of the policy, then you should have the objective, why you want to design the policy, and then you have to mention about the scope. This policy is meant for whom? So here, if this can be, this policy can be applied to the school leadership roles, including principal, vice principal, head of the departments, academic and administrative coordinators, leadership team, school management committees, your support staff. So whoever you want to include in this policy, that scope has to be mentioned. And next, you can list down the key components of the policy. What all you want to include under the policy. Suppose we have given few of the components like the point on curriculum design and alignment. Suppose you want to make a policy for curriculum design and alignment. So you have to ensure, your key component could be that you have to ensure that the curriculum design, the lesson plans or the teachers' logs are aligned with the national framework. That is your NEP 2020 or NCF. So that could be your key component when you take a policy for the curriculum design and alignment. Also, through this curriculum designing and alignment, you look at the integration of competency-based learning, multilingualism, and also skill-based education. So this is all what you have to include in the policy if you are designing a policy for curriculum design and alignment. Next is about, another point is about inclusive decision making. So if you want a policy for inclusive decision making, you have to make a clear communication channels with the leadership team and the staff. There has to be a two-way feedback system with teachers, students, and parents. So this will build leadership capacity at all levels through distributed roles and collaborative planning. Another key policy component for developing a school leadership policy is about conflict resolution and transparency. So you want to create a culture of empathy, fairness, and timely resolution. So again, you will have the policy points over there. So anonymous feedback, the surveys, sometimes you want to start with a meditation practice to resolve this conflict. So all this has to be included in the policy document. Next, suppose you want to have a goal setting through your school development plan, through your SDP. So you will have to have a clear goal with a baseline score and with the timelines and milestone. That is an action step. So when you have a school development plan, it is all about your goal setting with goal setting based on your baseline scores or baseline data which is available in the school. Then what are the action you are going to take to improve, to show the improvement, how you are going to monitor and track, and what is the end result. So all this will come under your goal setting through your school development plan when you are developing a school development. So it has to be all documented in a organized way. Then if suppose you want to bring a change management policy in the change management, so there has to be some strategic planning where you are involving the stakeholders. There is a well communication between all the stakeholders, and you use the data and feedback to adapt decision when you are planning some kind of change in your systems. If you want to have a policy for continuous improvement, this is also one of the key components which you can include in your school leadership policy. So you have to conduct a strategic review. So it is like a self-review by the school. So that data will also help you to look forward and see what needs to be improved. And that will help you to develop your continuous improvement leadership policy. Then data-informed practices. So how the data which is available in the school, whether it is a behavioral data of the students through your anecdotal record, through your attendance registers, teachers, or the students, or your PTM attendance, or the PTM feedback by the teacher, by the parents. So this data will help you to also define a policy and how this data will be used in your school to practice so that you show the improvement and look at this data as steps for goal setting as well as for the improvement in the school, and to strategize some instructional practices in the school. Suppose you want to bring innovation and future readiness, innovation for future ready classroom. So again, you have to encourage some kind of creative pedagogies, some kind of interdisciplinary projects. And all this has to be documented in the school policy so that it is shared with everyone and everybody is on the same page. So why we are asking why the SQAAF is asking the school leader to have a school leadership policy, so that it is been shared with everyone and it is been so that all the stakeholders who are associated with the schools are on the same page and they have the same understanding what the leader is talking about. Yeah. Even for the external partnership, you can have this. Next parameter for designing a school leadership policy is about implementation and review. So suppose how this policy is going to be implemented. So whether it is for everyday basis or through a capacity building programs or the workshops or through a leadership review, this school policy is going to be implemented, or it has been implemented by which stakeholders. So all this has to be documented in the implementation part. And also this leadership policies, whatever you are designed, who is going to review. So for that, if you're forming a leadership committee to review the progress of this policy, or to whether to make awareness about this policy, so there has to be have some committee members to review this policy, so that they conduct evaluation annually or a fortnightly or in a half yearly, so that to ensure there is a relevance of this policy making and it shows some effectiveness in the school. So again, it is up to the school, whatever policies they want to create, they can create based on this kind of component, which is suggested by the SQAAF framework. So you can have the policy documents for these areas so that it is aligned with the SQAAF framework, which has been suggested by the CBSE SQAAF committee. Next comes your conclusion. So this policy will ensure that school leaders act not only as a manager, but as a visionaries and collaborator who lead the learning forward. So this will be the conclusion when you document certain policies for your school, for know the effectiveness of whatever the actions you are taking in the school. This policies plays an important role so that all the stakeholders are aware about this and they know what exactly they have to do in the school, and they abide to these policies. So this is what about the school leadership policy, which is very much required by the SQAAF. Now let's talk about the next, that is the next aspect is about the empowerment programs. So if you look at any strong school system, leadership isn't top down. It is always a shared leadership. So empowerment programs are the bridge to achieve that. So when teachers, parents, students, and even the community feel valued and equipped, they contribute more actively towards the school activities. Yeah. So empowerment creates a sense of ownership, and that's what drives real school improvement. And also if you look at the NEP 2020, it also emphasizes on collaborative and inclusive leadership, which is talking about empowerment programs for the teachers and whoever the stakeholders which are involved, which are connected with the school. So if you look at this document, the empowerment program template, so the empowerment programs are already been defined for all the stakeholders. And if you break down whatever the empowerment programs you're planning for the stakeholders, it becomes very clear. So whoever the inspector comes in your school, and if this document is presented to it becomes very clear, yes, this school is doing some empowerment program for the teachers, the educators and the staff, for the students, for the parents, and for the community. So for example, if you list out, if you look at this programs for educators and staff, so by creating suppose a quality time or a circle time, which is a peer learning circles, some kind of mentoring programs for educators, for the continuous professional development, so some kind of expertise coming in the school to demonstrate certain kind of pedagogies in the school. That will help the educators and staff to remain updated, and that will allow them to participate. And also when we hear from the others, it also enlightened us to make a proper decisions in the school. So this kind of programs will definitely will be trusted by the teachers. The teachers will become more confident, and they will be willing to innovate in the classroom. So if you are having some kind of structured programs or empowerment program, and teachers will be always motivated to give their best in the school. For parents, what we are planning, like for example, it is given like a parenting workshop, session on students' well-being. So inviting parents, calling a expertise who can give them a parenting parenting advices, how to be well-being, bring the students at home, sometimes the digital safety awareness. So all these kind of programs can be planned for the parents, and this will also help the leaders to build trust between the parents and the school. For students, so what kind of programs we plan for the students? So we have in our school, many schools has this about the students' councils. Many times we have the boot camps for the students. We organize exhibitions. We have some kind of projects to present in their inter-school competition. And there are also some kind of opportunities given to the students where their life skills and entrepreneurship skills are being developed. So if these parts are included in your school, naturally the students will also feel confidence, responsible, and also develop their real world skills. When we give them exposures to interact with other school students or other school leaders, so that will help them to develop their social skills and also solve some real world problems from the real world scenarios. Then for the community, so how you take help of the community or how you empower the community of our school. So we can call them as volunteers to sometimes to mentor our students, or sometimes take their help to co-lead the sustainability initiative. So many times we also involve community to give the feedback upon our schools. So that also help us to get, and sometimes feedback also helps, and sometimes their new ideas also helps to develop the school. So this way, if you have some kind of empowerment programs for the school community, school stakeholders, it will definitely help you to build as a leader, and it will really help you as a leaders to bring that growth together and co-create a school improvement in your respective school. So if you see, this empowerment is not an isolated activity, it connects everything. So when every voice is included and every hand contributes, the whole system moves forward together, and it will show some good results. So this is all about how the leadership also has to look into the empowerment program for all the stakeholders of the school. Next. So now let's move on to the next slide, which is talking about the system thinking approach. So we know in our school there are many issues, whether it is academic, whether it is a behavioral issues or operational issue. They aren't being isolated, so they are connected, and that's where the system thinking comes in. Whatever issues it may be. So all these issues are connected, and that's why as a leader of the school, we have to create those systems so that these issues or these challenges are being addressed through a proper channel and not in isolations. So let me give you an example. Suppose in a school, suppose ABC school is there, and that school saw some poor attendance, students attendance, and that lead to the teacher's low moral. So the principal initially considered only strict monitoring and reminders. So initially principal said, no, we will just monitor who is coming late and give them the strict reminders and strict warnings. But later on, this was not showing again any improvement in the attendance of the student. So then the principal thought, and the principal adopted a system thinking approach. So what does the principal did? The principal conducted a students, parents survey, staff survey, then parent survey, and the student survey. And through this survey, the principal found that students were disengaged and the teachers were overworked. So this created a cross-functional day, and then the principal got to know the root cause through this survey, and then the principal has created a cross-functional team where the parents were included, teachers were included, and students were included to explore what are the, again, deeper causes. And this way they rebalance the workloads, then they reduce unnecessarily assessments, and also made learning projects more project-based and hands-on and interactive and activity-based. So this setup sets a feedback loop for them. So there was again a regular check-in, then again the data was reviewed, and again it was discussed in a open forum, like in staff meetings, again with the students and again with the parents. And this system resulted in attendance improvement in that school. So this strengthened the teachers' collaboration and also students' engagement increase. So this is not just because of one change, but because everything was aligned in this system what the principal has created to improve the school students' attendance in the school. So as we discussed, this system thinking means looking at your school not as a separate department or a task, but as an interconnected living ecosystem. So it helps you to see pattern instead of isolated events, solve root cause and not only the symptoms, and plan for long-term sustainable improvement. So this system thinking approach is also very, very important aspect for the leaders to look into. So what systems you are creating for the school students' attendance? What systems you are creating for the students who are coming late? What systems you are creating for the students who want to leave half day? So all this system has to be created and communicated to the stakeholders so that everybody knows what is the system of this school. So this also plays an important role for the school leaders when they talk about system thinking approach. And if you look at the key principle of the system thinking in school is about connectedness. For example, suppose we talk about the assessment policy. The principal want to change the assessment policy. So how this change in assessment policy will affect students, teachers, and the parent. So that also has to be considered when we are creating, and when you are creating a system, when you are channelizing through a system, you are looking into all these aspects. So there is an element of interconnectedness. Then there is an element of feedback loop. So if the surveys are taken, so you get a survey data which helps us to know where the improvement is required. So this survey data, suppose for the survey for the well-being of the students, if you are conducting a survey for the well-being of the student, so how it will lead to the curriculum design and how you will plan the workshop for the students, for the teachers. So this will also help you to complete a feedback loop. Then the mental models, like leaders reflect on their own biases before forming school discipline policy. So are we biased to anyone? So this also helps to look at not only your professional judgment, are you only taking the professional judgment, or just or looking at how what will work when you are designing any discipline policy or any behavioral policy or whole school policy. So this will also help you to understand what are your mental models, what how professional judgments you are taking, or you are taking a database judgments. And then it will help you to have a whole system alignment where your vision, your teaching strategies, and your budgets are planned together, not in isolation. So when leaders think in system, they stop firefighting and start designing. It's the shift from reacting to leading strategically, and that's what sustainable school improvement look like under a SQAAF framework. So again, the system thinking approach is very important by keeping these key principles when you are designing a system in school, and why it is important for leaders to create system for the school improvement and to make the school improvement a sustainable process. Next is about the yes. So it's about the developing a smart goal. So it's all about leadership is all about turning your vision into certain action, and that is done through a smart goal. Uh, and what exactly, how the smart goal exactly help us? So under this core framework, uh, leaders are expected to develop a clear, measurable, and a strategic goal that drives school improvement and students' learning. So, SMART is standing, if you look at the SMART goals, S stands for specific, very clearly defined goals. M stands for measurable, it is to be quantified. Uh, A stand for attainable. It has to be a attainable goal, achievable goal. R stands for realistic, doable goal, and time. T stands for time bound, where we have a defined deadline to achieve that goal, and then only that goal becomes a SMART goal. If all these elements of SMART are present in your goal, then it becomes a goal statement for you, and it will not become a vague statement. So to understand how to build a smart goal effectively, let us go through these 5 key thinking steps for designing a effective smart goal. So first step is about defining the why, which is specific. So first, you have to clarify why this goal is important. What school challenges or opportunity does it addresses? Does it aligns with the broader school priorities like foundational learning, teacher development, or well-being of the school? The why gives your goal the purpose and relevance. So your first step to design a goal is about defining the why. The specific, you have to be very specific what challenge you have to address. That is has to be very clear in your mind. Second step is to involve key stakeholders. So goals are succeeded when people are involved in the processes. So if what specific action will be taken and by whom is to be clarified in your goal set statement, in a goal setting document. So you can include your school teams, you can include your students, and even your parents. And if the training is required, how they will go about the action which are listed down in a goals document, you have to plan for the trainings also. So this is what the second step when you are designing your goal document, the SDP goals or any other goal for your school, then you have to also consider the involvement of your main key stakeholders, means who will be the responsible for what action. For example, suppose you are doing a school development plan, and in school development plan you are planning for suppose safety of your school or safety and personal development of the school. So there has to be a teachers committee which is responsible for this area. There has to be another committee which is responsible for the students' outcome. How the examination data is to be analyzed and um, interpreted and looked out where the progress is required. So there has to be another committee, maybe teachers or teachers to be involved so that they look into the students' outcome data. A committee which is looking at the safety of the school. There has to be a committee who is looking at the personal development of the children. So this way you have to involve all the stakeholders to make your goal succeed in your school improvement. Then quantify the outcome. So every SMART goal needs a way to measure success. So what data you will collect when you're setting a goal, and what progress will look like. So whether it is a numerical or it is a quality, or through the words, through the parameters what you are defined. So all this has to be kept in mind when you want to measure your goal. So you have a goal, you have a stake involvement, but your goal has to be measurable so that you know where your goal is progressing. Then establish a timeline. So clear timeline. It is not that you are following the action, but not reaching the deadline. So not reaching your destination, or by what time you want to achieve this particular goal. Suppose, for example, I want to improve the standard 10th science scores of the students from 60% to 80%. So this is doable by the end of first term examination. So I have given the timeline. So by first term examination, I want to know that 60%, those students who were in 60%, most of should reach to 80%. So that is what the deadline I am given for the school goal to set by the end of a half-yearly exam. Students of standard 9 should score 80% marks in subject science. So that is some deadlines which I have as a leaders, as a stakeholders, school committees or the school community, you have to mark your deadline to achieve your goal which you are documented. And very important, document and communicate. So your goal, what you have designed, it should not be in your head. It has to be visible and transparent to everyone. So how it will be visible and transparent? It has to be documented. So for example, you have a school development, it has to be documented with proper meeting notes. Whatever the meetings you conduct, there has to be have a MOM with respect to your school development plan. Meetings are conducted within a students outcome committee, within a well-being committee, or within a personal development committee. So all this has to be documented so that then only the actions what you are taking to achieve your goal is visible, is transparent to everyone. And there you can regularly communicate the progress. In this first month meeting, there is less more progress. But again, your actions become more rigorous. So you see some improvement. So this gives you the progress of your goal steps or the goal actions, and that will help you to communicate when it is documented well in the form of MOM or whatever the discussion points you have during your meetings, or whatever the action steps you are taking, which action steps leads to the progress, which action step is not working in the school, all has to be documented, and it will help you to monitor the progress of your school improvement plan. Now, let's look at the goal which is mentioned on the slide and how it reflects good leadership practice. So the goal mentioned here is improve fundamental literacy skill among grade 2 students by increasing the number of students reading at grade level from 60% to 85% by March 2026 through daily 30 minutes reading session, monthly assessment, and parental engagement activities. So if you look at this goal, Is this goal a SMART goal? It is a SMART goal because it is specific. So this goal is clearly focusing on the area, for one area, that is fundamental literacy in grade 2. So there is a target group. What skill is to be improved is clearly mentioned. And what is the strategy they have mentioned is about daily practice session, the assessments, monthly assessment, and also the parent involvement. So it becomes a specific. The first element of SMART goal that is specific is covered. Next is about measurement, where it is showing this goal, where how you will measure the progress of this goal by measuring the progress from 60% to 85%. So this gives us a clear numerical target to track and evaluate. Yeah. Is it achievable? Yes, it is realistic. It is doable. So from 60 to 80%, it is an ambitious goal, right? So it is doable goal. So when there is a regular reading time, there are regular assessment to monitor, like maintaining a reading tracker, maintaining the oral tracker. So all this help you to achieve your goal of 60% to 85%. So there are planned structured intervention to achieve this goal. And is it relevant? Yes, it is a national priority for the entire nation, because it is the priority in your NEP also, under your Nipun Bharat. So which emphasizes the foundational literacy as a critical outcome. So it also supports the overall school improvement plan, and it is also a time bound. So by end of March 2026, this school wants to improve the literacy skills of their students. So this SMART goals helps leaders turn big visions into focused actions. So when a school is thinking about the improvement, so the school, when plans certain goals, documents certain goals in a form of SMART goal, it will help them to remain focused and follow their actions. So this gives them the clarity, accountability, and motivation across the school system. So again, developing a SMART goal is an important aspect for the school leaders to have it in their school as per the SQAAF requirement. SAFL exam. Yeah, SAFL exam is also through teaching learning processes, how the school can build that competency skills among the students, so that as a school you can nominate your students for the SAFL exams also. Yeah, right. That is the goal for, maybe the goal for you, the person who has, the teacher who has written about the SAFL exams, right? Okay. Next is about the fundamental to great leadership is about building an inclusive culture, school culture. So again, the SQAAF standard, which is 6.3.2, emphasize that school leaders must demonstrate responsibility and accountability in creating a culture of equity, inclusivity, and system thinking. So for schools leaders, so inclusion is not a side project, but it is a mindset for these leaders. So it is a school-wide commitment by the leaders, and it is very vital for the school leaders for better outcomes, for better academic results, for better social skill or stronger well-being and higher engagement for all the students, especially who are in the marginal level. So for the better outcomes for the students' growth, the mindset of inclusive is very important for the leaders. It builds a positive culture. The positive climate is developed, environment is created in the school, so that the students feel safe, respectful, and welcoming, where all the schools feels a sense of belongingness when we have the policy, or we have an inclusive culture, or the leaders build an inclusive culture in the school. So there is a positive vibe in the school where everybody respects each other. Students feel safe to speak, and they feel happy to come to school. And it also helps for future readiness. So by inclusion in the school teaching process, in the school participation, the school is preparing students to thrive in a diverse, interconnected world, and in becomes so that this inclusion uh, will build a global citizens for tomorrow. So, how a leadership role will foster this inclusion in the schools, um, and how, as a leaders, you can lead this shift. So, there are the four key actions area you can work on as a school leaders. First is set a vision. So, articulate a clear and shared vision for inclusion in your school policy document, and also make it visible in your daily actions and the school culture. For example, how you will make it visible in your school culture that you have inclusion policy. You are so. For example, you can have some kind of messages about inclusion, accepting differences, helping each others, and respecting every learners during a morning assembly. That could be some of the practice you can to show that inclusion is a culture in your school. Or you can have some kind of slogans all over in your school walls or in your compound walls, where you can write every child, every background, every dream is included in a school campus. So all this kind of actions will help you to articulate your clear and shared vision of inclusion in the school. Next is about lead by example. So again, setting a vision is always make it a shared vision of inclusion through your policy document. Then you have to lead by an example. Suppose as a leader, you personally meet every child at the gate on a daily basis or a once a week. So this also shows that all students are equal to you, and especially you are connected with them. You are building that bond with all the students. And also many times if there are special educators in the school, or there are special classes going on with this underperforming school or the slow learners in the school, so as a leaders you have to visit this inclusive classroom and see how the co-teaching spaces, create those co-teaching spaces so that these children who are little bit lacking behind can sit with a regular classroom. So this will show by leading by an example, and then publicly and acknowledging teachers' efforts that supports inclusion during your staff meetings and newsletters. So if any teachers does a very good job through the inclusion activities, then you have to encourage those teachers in your staff meetings or through your email or through your newsletter, so that they are more motivated to again carry on this inclusion practices in the school. Next is about shape the policies and practices. Previous slide only. Previous slide. Previous slide. No? Yeah, about inclusive culture only. Yeah. Then you have to prioritize your budget for suppose your teachers are not aware about the differentiation instruction. So you have to include that budget for the teachers training for differentiating instructions training program or universal design training program. So this has to be budgeted. Suppose you want to include inclusive learning aids like audio books. Again, it has to be prioritized in your budget. Next thing, what you have to keep in mind when it comes to the leadership role is about shaping the policies and practices. So you have to take a look at the current system, and accordingly you have to promote the policies of equity and unintentionally excluding some students. So here again, you have to review your discipline policies, curriculum, and hiring and teaching strategies, so that again you shape your policies and practices when you are building you want to build an inclusive culture in the school. Then next is about communicate and engage. So again, this is a key element for the leadership role to look into when you are building a inclusive culture. So creating a safe space where people can speak. So inclusion thrives where everyone feels heard. So you have to encourage those conversations in the school so that everybody is engaged, everybody gets a fair chance, and everybody feels that they belong to this school. Next point, what you have to keep in mind is about support and develop staff. So it is, as it told, inclusion is about the shared responsibility. All your staff must feel supported in this journey, and also use your coaching and peer learning to help staff adopt inclusive classroom practices. If they need support, you be as a leader to coach them and mentor them what it is talking about. So inclusion is not an event, it is embedded in everything what you do, from how we design classroom to how we resolve the conflicts to the stories we tell in the curriculum. So as leaders, we set the tone. When we lead with empathy, courage, and clarity, our school becomes spaces where everyone truly belongs. So this is what, when you want to have, as a leaders, you have to keep these key aspects in mind when you have to have a inclusive policies in the school or inclusive conducive culture in your school. Let's move on to the next point. Next slide. Yes, love. So, leverages resources available at the startup school. So, any idea what is Startup India for school? Yes, leaders? Do you have any idea what is this Startup India for schools? Some of the points are there on the slide also. Just let me see what are your insights and how you initiate these activities in your schools. You are all from the schools, leaders, educators. What is this Startup India, and what are the resources which are available at, and how as a leaders we can leverage this, use these resources from Startup India from school? Atal Think Lab. Yes, that's correct. Yes, Renu ma'am. Yes. Good. Yes, excellent. So what is this Startup India? It's a flagship initiative by the Government of India to boost innovation and entrepreneurship. So it is, and this is not just meant for the students or the startups, but these are the specific programs under Startup India designs for the school. So this initiative by the Government of India to boost innovation and entrepreneurial skills in the students. It is not only relevant for the college going, but they are saying these skills has to be developed in the school itself. And that's why the SQAAF is mobile app to track school buses or design a smart dustbin. Wow, great. So this is what a government is looking at. So at the school level only, how we can develop this innovative and as well as the entrepreneurial skills among the students. So this initiative was taken by the Government of India, and this is known as the Startup India for School. So the main goal of this initiative is to foster entrepreneurial skills and innovation among the students, and connect school learning with the real world startup ecosystem. So this aligns, and this, if you build this strong governance and through this industry partnership, and this will be aligned with the SQAAF standard of 6 that which we have discussed earlier, which is about 6.3.3, which urges us to create opportunities to create a divergent thinking and entrepreneurship mindset. So this is again, as a leaders, you have to encourage teachers to use this resources from the Startup India site, as well as we have an Ideathon intra-school tech fest. Very good. Yeah. So this is some kind of, the schools are taking a lot of initiative under these programs also. So why the school should use it? So as all leaders, we know now the education is not about only marks or the scores. It's about building 21st century education so that we develop that risk taking, problem solving, and collaboration and resilience skills among our students from this school level on. So this Startup India provides structured free tools to nurture these skills in our students. So let's see how the school leaders and educators can use this national level resources to build entrepreneurship skills and future readiness in students. So how school can leverage Startup India? So we can access the free Startup India learning program. So there are free online entrepreneurship courses with real life example, which can be simplified for the lower grades in our school also. So these resources are free, which are available on that government site. Use the Startup India toolkit and educator resources. Even for the teachers, they have introduced to introduce innovation in the school. They have uploaded a lot of resources, and that will help to strengthen innovation clubs. Some students startup cells in the school, and this is also again aligned with the NEP 2020, which is focusing on creativity and problem solving. So again, teachers can make use of this toolkits and the resources which are available on this Startup India government website. Register for incubation and mentorship. So any idea what does this incubation means? Any idea, educators? Do you have any ideas about what incubation means? What are these incubators? So if any organization or any student develop an idea, yes, initial level, very good. Supporting the initial idea. So when your ideas are at the early stage, so this incubators organization help you to turn this initial ideas into the real businesses. So they offer you the mentorship, then they give you the expert guidance. They also provide you the infrastructure and support the education. Yes, and also they help you to develop a business plan or a prototype the development support. So this is all what the incubator means. It is, these are the organization will help is to mentor you through your initial idea to grow as a real business. So as a school also, those you can, as a school, if your school students are showing those best innovative ideas or the innovative projects they make, so you can also connect with these government recognized incubators and mentors. So this will build a real world exposure, will encourage career pathways for entrepreneurship amongst your students. So this will also help school build credibility when your students get mentored by the real entrepreneurs. So real-time example of incubation supports the school, like some of you have mentioned about the Atal Incubation Centers, which is supported by Niti Aayog, and there are many Atal Thinkering Labs. So this is all what the schools can approach. So approach to these government agencies or the government recognized incubators, so that your school students gets that real life exposure or can can express or showcase their talent or the innovation through these government recognized centers. Even we have that I Create in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, uh, where the school works for the STEM to start up boot camps. The STEM faculty is there, and this works for the works as a boot camp for the school to help out. So as a school, so we can help schools support our students who think differently, creatively, or to build that entrepreneurship is by connecting them to the real-time mentors and startup incubators. Yes, TCS is ITVs is organized. Oh, great. Great, sir. So, as a school leaders, we also have to look into this, how these resources can be and how we can give exposure to our students to meet the real world challenges and to look at where the world is going and to get support from these government recognized incubators. So again, then the last part, but when we talk about leveraging resources which are available for the start is about the participation in the hackathons and the boot camp. So many state startup mission collaborate with this school and the opportunities for students to pitch in their ideas, build the prototypes and solve real problems. So teachers and even this boot camps helps the teachers to train and how to mentor students during this event. So you can organize one in your school or tie up with the district level events for such kind of hackathons as a boot camp. So there has to be some visibility whatever the innovation the students are doing in the school and how the teachers will support these innovations in the school or the skills the students are showcasing in the school is to be showcased or make it visible to the entire world through this participation in through hackathons or boot camps which are organized by some kind of startup missions. So when we think about this and uh, think that not every student will become an entrepreneur, but as a school, uh, we have to build that entrepreneurship mindset in the school so that the students start thinking, create something, show teamwork, and then have that visionary outlook to do something in the school. So this Startup India gives us the tools to build that culture in school, and it is free, accessible, and aligned with NEP and also your SQAAF framework goals. So this is very important for the leaders, how you can utilize these resources which are available as Startup India. So as a school, open your doors, let begin your explore, begin and explore these resources and plan how to embed them in your school system. So again, this is another aspect as a leaders you have to look into it. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. So next slide is about performance indicators. So now we have seen what leadership look like and why it is important, how the leadership build those systems and processes and how inclusion should be the part of the school. Now let's explore the most powerful leadership standard in our school. So here is an example of a collaborative leadership. So this standard emphasizes that school leaders should not work in isolation, but engage all the stakeholders, whether it is staff, students, parents, and community, to co-create a vibrant learning institution. So what are the performance indicators? So these are the some of the statements at every level the SQAAF framework has designed for the leaders, how the collaborative leadership should look like in your school, at what stage your collaborative leadership is at your school. So first, let me take you through the 4 levels of performance maturity under this indicator. First level is inceptive. So, here the collaboration just begins, and the school leader mostly collaborates with the key staff to get routine tasks. There are some important members in this staff, and the leaders only communicate with them or collaborate with them for the routine day. Stakeholders like parents, students have limited involvement. Community engagement happens only when required, and it's more task focus, not strategy. So if this is seen in your school, means your school is at the inceptive level, is at the level 1. Let us look at the standard design for the level 2, that is the transient level. So here the collaboration becomes intentional. Leaders begin forming cross-functional teams for staff to define roles and improve students' outcomes. So there are the teams forms in the school. Partnership begins. There is a partnership seen in the school. The school partners with the NGOs or the external learning providers, and there are students' voices being heard. There are some kind of initiatives where the students take initiatives in the school or talk about certain things in the school. So this is your level 2. If this is seen in your school, then you are at the level 2. Level 3 is about the stable, where the collaboration is structured and meaningful. Leaders form teams with staff, students, parents to lead projects with ownership. So some such kind of projects are assigned to the teachers, parents, students, and they take the ownership of making that project successful. So if such things are seen, then you are at the stable stage, you are at the level 3. So there are other points also. This indicators, performance indicators are already been drafted in the SQAAF document, the handbook. So you can refer that handbook to look at where your school stand when it comes to the leadership domain. And the 4th level is about dynamic evolving. And it is very, very the top indicator, the top performance of the school, that this, for example, for collaborative leadership, it is the statements which are given under this level 4 is, this is a collaborative leadership at its peak. The highest level collaboration is seen in the school. There is a formal leadership policy that promotes alignments, engagement, and shared accountability. So there is a proper documented leadership policy where everybody's roles and responsibilities are defined. The school builds a collaborative culture rooted in empathy, openness, inclusion, and strategy. Looking at the school behavior, students' behavior, teachers' behavior, the entire staff behavior, the outsider or the external person comes to know, yes, this school has a collaborative culture. All the stakeholders speaks the same language. Everybody is aware about what is happening in the school. So then the school is at the level 4. So as a leaders, we must move beyond delegation and towards co-creation. So delegation is always happening in the school, but along with the delegation, how you involve the other stakeholder, the delegated task to co-create something new. That is where we look at the indicators or the performance of the school. So collaborative leadership doesn't not get the work done, but it builds ownership, innovation, and long-term improvement. So your leadership is truly collaborative when every voice is valued, every person feels responsible, and decisions are made together. So with a shared goal of better learning for tomorrow, for all. So this will be the highest level of your. So these indicators, these performance statements or the performance levels are been already defined in the handbook of SQAAF. So this was just an example to show you how you can measure your leadership domain when you are doing the self-assessment of your school. So this will give you the fair idea where you stand when it comes to the performance of this domain in your school. Okay, next, let's move. So now let's take a moment to reflect on what makes a school leader truly effective. So there are 4 statements on your screen. So first statement A is limited staff and autonomy, annual performance reviews only, regular feedback and professional development for all, strict adherence to rules without flexibility. Now type in your chat box which of these contribute most to a healthy growth-oriented school culture. Yes, all are giving the right answer. Yes, the correct approach is the C. Regular feedback and professional development for all. Why it is so? Why this approach matters? Because effective school leaders, yes, all three, Sujata Kumari ma'am. Why do you think all three are important for effective? Is limited staff autonomy is important? Continuous improvement and development. Yes. Yes, for continuous improvement and development, regular feedback and professional development for all is important. So if you look at the leaders, so for effective school leaders, they don't just supervise, but they empower. And they ensure that the teachers, staff member, and stakeholder is given the space to grow and contribute meaningfully. And that's why this feedback is important from all the, so that through this feedback, the leaders can empower the teachers. And why an effective approach towards participative management matters. Why this matters? To improve staff performance and motivation, to empower them, build a supportive and collaborative environment so that everybody is heard and involved in decision, and also teams are motivated, because when you invest in people, they invest back for the school. And there is and so that when you invest in your teachers improvement, they will give their best, and that will ultimately have effect on students outcome, and you will see the better students outcome, because great teaching will will provide a supportive environment for learning. And also if you look at this approach, this also is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which advocates for inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all. So great leaders don't just lead people, they grow leaders. So as leaders, our aim is to build a school culture where everyone feels valued, supported, and empowered. Let's move on. So on your screen now, yeah. So now on your screen, there is a case study, the power of shared leadership. So let me share this story of a real school. So let it call it as a ABC public school. So on paper, this school had everything going for it: modern building, qualified teachers, and even a strong parent community. But beneath the surface, it was struggling. So what is the challenge? What is the challenge? If you read this case study, which is on your screen, have you all read, or should I read for you? Okay, let me read for you all. So ABC Public School, a co-educational institution located in a Tier 2 city, had all the elements of a successful school: modern infrastructure, experienced faculty, and a supportive parent community. However, beneath the surface, it was struggling with leadership inefficiencies that affected both morale and the performance. The principal, although deeply committed, was overwhelmed with administrative duties and had limited time to guide academic practices. Department heads and coordinators were unsure of their roles, resulting in confusion, delayed decision making, and low accountability. Teachers felt disconnected from school level planning, and staff feedback indicated a lack of motivation and ownership. The school recognized that its leadership structure needed a complete rethink to foster a more collaborative, supportive, and goal-oriented environment. So what is the challenge in this case study? Are you there, educators? Yeah. Accountability of teachers regarding policies. Okay. Yeah. So if we see, look at the challenge, accountability, yes. Responsibilities were not shared, yes, true. What else? Conflict amongst the teachers, okay. Why there was a conflict? Because the heads and the departmental heads and the coordinators were not aware about their roles. No efficient leadership, great. They are not ready to work department activities. Okay, true leadership is about giving orders from afar, it's about standing strong beneath others. And okay, great. So everybody has identified the challenge because the principal was committed. But what was the challenge with him? It was that the principal was overwhelmed by the day-to-day administrative work. So he has hardly any time to look into the academics part. Can we move on to the next slide? And then the, okay, solution is, okay. Then the teacher also felt left out of the decision. And there was overall, the morale of the school was low. So this was the challenges which were seen in that ABC schools. So this was not a problem of effort, but it was a problem of structure, isn't it? So how was this gap identified and what was the solution? So the ABC school realized something very critical. So they found that the centralized leadership model was holding them back. One person, that is the principal, was expected to carry everything, and middle leaders were underutilized. Yes, transparency and decentralization of activities. Yes, Ganesh sir. Communication was top down and it was not collaborative, and this called a complete rethinking of leadership. So what do you think? What could be the solution? So the solution is all about distributed leadership. The school has to move from a top-heavy model to the shared leadership approach. So they formed a core leadership team with principal, vice principal, HODs and senior teachers. Then they clearly defined the roles and responsibilities, conducted leadership trainings to build capacity. They also introduced classroom walkthroughs, monthly reviews, a digital feedback system for ongoing inputs and mentoring. This was not just a delegation, but it was an empowerment for the entire school. Can we go on the next slide? So as a result, when they implemented all this, the result was the transformation was real. Coordination and communication improved. Decision making became faster and smarter, and teachers felt motivated and involved. The principal could now focus on academic, not just administration. The students' achievement and parent satisfaction rose significantly, and the shared leadership created ownership, accountability, and the progress. So the key message, next slide. So what is the conclusion? So the key message or the conclusion from this case is simple. So leadership is not about doing everything yourself. It's about building a team that leads together. So empowering middle leaders or the middle school teachers, supporting structures or the second line leaders through supporting structure and a culture of trust, we can transform your school, just how this ABC school, public school, has shown some improvement through that implementation, uh, through the proper implementation and the proper interpretation of the problems. Yes, next slide. So far,
Okay.
do you have any questions? Do we have any questions in the chat box?
Only couple of questions will be addressed. This is first Q&A, and remaining questions will be addressed later. Anybody who is having questions can easily put them in the chat box. So I think you have already addressed all the questions on the go.
Oh, let's
Okay.
move.
Let's move on. Okay.
So let us conclude what is leadership. So effective school leadership is not about authority. It's about vision. It's about collaboration and impact. So great leaders don't just manage, they imagine. They articulate a compelling future for the school. So leadership is not an act of solo, it is a symphony. So as a leaders, they don't just run school, they reshape mindset, they foster inclusion, promote well-being, and build resilience. So let's remember, leadership is not about power. It's not about power. It's about purpose. It's not about position. It's about people. And it's not about control. It's about culture and change. So that is all effective leadership. It's not about power, but about purpose, not about position, but people. And it's not about controlling everyone, everything on everyone, but it's about creating a culture for change. Yeah. Thank you. So before we close, let us important update about CBSE school must act upon as per CBSE circular. As per the CBSE circular, which was published on 27 February 2025, it is now mandatory for all the CBSE affiliated schools to submit their self-assessment under SQAAF. Who is this for? So it applies to all the CBSE school across country and abroad. What should school prepare for? School need to prepare over 1,500 plus documents and evidences as per the detailed SQAAF handbook. This covers every domain, standard, and subdomains of the framework. When to submit? The final date for submission is December 31st, 2025. Schools are encouraged to start early to avoid last-minute rush and ensure thoroughness. Then is what exactly needs to be submitted? The school must upload two key components, the complete SQAAF self-assessment and well-structured self-improvement plan based on their findings. Where to submit? Submissions are to be made on the official SQAAF framework portal. You will log in using your LOC user ID and password. How will CBSE inspection occur? So after submission, a peer assessor team will be assigned. The peer assessment team will physically visit your school to verify documentation, interact with stakeholders, and assess overall implementation. So SQAAF is not just a compliance task. It is an opportunity for your school to introspect, innovate, and institutionalize excellence. So start your preparation today because quality It's a journey, not a destination. Let's move on to the next slide. Love. So now that we know SQAAF submission is mandatory and the self-assessment is evidence-driven. So school must upload more than 1,500 documents and evidences across the 7 domains of SCAAF. So to understand the documentation workloads, school must prepare for it. So on your screen, where we have the number of documents, the breakup of number of documents under every domain which you have to submit. We have to keep ready for this CBSE inspection. So for curriculum and pedagogy, we have almost 502 documents to keep ready. It is a large chunk covering all our learning processes, lesson planning, assessments, and innovation. For infrastructure research, the second domain, we have to maintain 356 documents, which includes about your physical facilities, digital tools, safety measures, and accessibility compliance. Human resources, we have 176 documents to maintain, inclusive practices, 125 documents to maintain. Management and governance, 171 documents, which reflects on leadership structures, audits, strategic planning, and transparency. And under leadership, you have to maintain 118 documents, which will focus the documents which are focusing on vision, the leadership actions, participative decision making, and also the continuous improvement culture. And for the beneficiary, the last domain, beneficiary satisfaction, we have to maintain 101 documents, which includes about the survey, the feedback loops from the students, parent, alumni, and the staff, and whatever the actions taken when you take this survey and interpret this survey data. So this is all about the documents and the evidences which you have to maintain for the CBSE inspection, which the SQAAF has already shortlisted for you all. Now that we have explored the SQAAF self-assessment process, now let's move on to the next important piece, that is the SQAAF inspection. So how are they conducted and what can you expect? So CBSE conducts inspection for a randomly selected 5% of school every year to assess their compliance and implementation of SQAAF framework standards. And if your school requests an inspection or a re-evaluation, CBSE may also conduct one to verify progress or provide feedback. So when a school is looking to renew or extend its affiliation with CBSE, the inspection will also consider the SQAAF self-assessment as a part of this renewal process or extended process for affiliation. The purpose, the primary aim of this inspection is not to just evaluate, it's to promote self-improvement. So the focus is the focus of this inspection process is the process oriented and focuses on long-term quality improvement for the school. Duration of inspection is continuous and ongoing. Target group for CBSE SQAAF inspection is all schools. This inspection process applies to all schools that are using a SQAAF framework for self-assessment, including both CBSE and non-CBSE schools. Support during the inspection. So during the inspection, school will receive detailed self-improvement descriptor, which will help them understand their strength and area for growth. And CBSE also offers capacity building initiatives that guide school through the process, helping them improve in areas like leadership, pedagogy, and community partnership. And the outcome, so the outcome of this inspection is a tool for growth. So it will encourage the school to set specific goals and develop a roadmap for improvement. So instead of simple rating system, this inspection process focuses on actionable feedback and growth opportunities. So that will be the outcome. So as a school, CBSE SQAAF inspection are not just about compliance, they are about setting a vision for continuous improvement and fostering a growth culture within your school. So it's better that schools start preparing early so that you view this inspection as a catalyst for positive change. Next slide. Let's look at the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So, what are the documents which we have to maintain under this domain 6, that is the leadership? So, let us look at a closer look. So, school innovation policy. So, your school must have a vision for and the policy that promotes creativity, experimentation, and risk taking. So, under this leadership domain, school innovation policy, you have to maintain. Then a school must have a record of empowerment programs. So the empowerment program which are planned for the teachers, for the students, or the capacity building workshops or the exchange program which are planned has to be recorded under empowerment program. Budget allocation documents to know how whether the school allocate funds strategically to support teachers development, students innovation, or technology upgrades. So your budget allocation document also has to be ready. It also falls under leadership domain. Collaborative practices documents where leaders form inclusive teams with staff, students, and parents. Then you as a leaders, you should have a document where creative, innovative, and meaningful practices and their outcomes in all the 7 domains are being documented. Records of collaborative activities like community like parents volunteering or local professional mentoring students has to be recorded. Collaborative activities through community services is to be recorded. Then records of teachers' diary and lesson plan. So that will help the inspectors to know how the leaders are monitoring the TLA of the school, how they are reflecting on whether the teachers are reflecting on their co-planning, subject level collaboration is happening in the school or not, or the reflective teaching practices have been followed in the school or not. So again, the records of lesson planning and the teacher's log is to be maintained in the school. Then the entire school timetable, the teacher's timetable, the class timetables are also been seen by the inspector and which also falls under the leadership proposal. Empowerment program planned for the entire year for all the stakeholders. Then how schools are leveraging Startup India platform to support innovation and entrepreneurship. Documented staff roles and responsibilities is also the responsibility of the leaders. Document showcasing innovation in the school through exhibitions, through school website, how the schools leaders are making visible the innovation which are taking place in their school. That how the leaders are showcasing this is also has to be documented, whether they are going to showcase through a social media or through their website or through the exhibition or carrying out some kind of activities or inter-school activities. Then records of post-observation feedback and feed forward. Then the records of classroom observation, the staff appraisal, students' voice, etc., as a tool for monitoring and reviewing the school practices. So what are the monitoring tools in the school? That is also has to be maintained by the school leader. And the school improvement plan as a living tool and that embed innovation and work and track progress. So school improvement plan is a responsibility of the school leaders to keep as a living document or a living tool to show or display the improvement in the school. So this is what are the documents what the school leaders have to maintain under this domain leadership. Next slide. So in the next slide, Let's look at the next slide. So this is the CBSE circular which was issued on 27 February 2025. So every CBSE affiliated school is now required to conduct and submit a complete self-assessment under the school quality assessment and assurance web. So it's all talking about how the CBSE school affiliated school have to conduct their self-assessment uh, on under the framework of school assessment, school quality assessment and assurance. And this circular specify the complete SQAAF self-assessment cycle for academic year 2025. Preparation of document, submission timeline, submission platform, and also inspection and validation. So SQAAF is not just a formality, it's your school pathway to sustainable excellence. So as a school leaders, look at your leadership domain. Leadership domain is very important because it takes care of all the other uh, 5 domains, other 6 domains, because there are total 7 domains, and this leadership domain is very important to take care of all the 6 other domains. So this domain plays a very important role when it comes to the improvement of school quality. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. So thank you. And I now hand over to the Luneblaze team for the further details. Over to you, Love.
Ma'am, there's some internet issue, please. If we can wait for a few minutes, just a
Oh,
moment. It's
oh.
yeah.
Okay, so now we'll discuss the Luneblaze part.
Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am, for the insightful explanation and your in-depth information about all those topics. But before we move into Q&A session, open the floor for engaging discussions. Please allow me a quick moment to share a bit about Luneblaze and how we support schools on their SQAAF accreditation journeys. As I mentioned earlier also, Luneblaze have been working into accreditation space for over 8 years, partnering with colleges on NAC, and building on that, we are now extended our support to schools in navigating the SQAAF framework. So talking specifically for SQAAF, we offer schools a comprehensive solution that simplifies the entire accreditation process, from document management and policies like ECPPs, calendars, along with maintaining evidences to keep track of events such as competitions, workshops, and orientations. We'll also helping you to stay organized and ready for this annual score self-assessment process. And now to make it even more clear, let's have a closer look at the how exactly Luneblaze is going to support you through each step of the score process. So moving on to the next slide. So this is how we help. Firstly, we'll be offering you 1,500 ready-to-use templates and policies that schools can customize or use directly. Our easy-to-use platform will also help you to manage and store records like images, reports, certificates for events such as functions, competitions, workshops, and many more. Along with document management, we'll also be providing workflow management that will help your schools assign tasks to the right teachers, setting deadlines, tracking progress, which in turn ensures everything is completed on time. On the top of that, we'll also offer monthly training webinar sessions delivered by SCOR experts, which are designed to help faculty in continuously improving their understanding on the application of SCOR and standards and ensure that everyone stays up to date. So next, moving on to the next slide. It's not showing it. Why is it not showing it? Okay, a little bit about SQAAF as well. We also hold regular review meetings to share SQAAF updates and new features so that everyone stays aligned and any gaps can be quickly addressed. And whenever our support is needed, we are just a message or call away. Our team will be available 24/7 through phone calls, emails, or WhatsApp to guide you in every step you need. We'll also help schools file their annual SCOR report on the CBSE SCOR portal. And we'll also guide them through do's and don'ts so the self-assessment becomes accurate and meaningful and not just a formality fee. We'll also conduct document audits, mock inspections, knowing how uncertain CBSE inspections can feel. These help schools see where they stand and build the confidence needed for the actual SCOR visit. So this was a quick look at all the ways Luneblaze is here to make your SCOR journey smoother. Now we'll be talking about this. Okay. To give you a hands-on experience, we are sharing a scan QR code. QR is not showing. A QR code and a link will be shared that you can use to create a free demo account on the Luneblaze portal. Such a demo account will stay active for 7 days and will give you access to the first subdomain as per the SCOR framework. And to make things even easier, so you can also book a personalized demo. No problem if the demo is not showing. I'll give you the link in the chat box. So please feel free to scan the QR code, book a free demo, simply visit our luneblazeportal.com. So sign up and start exploring. It's a great way to get familiar with the platform and see how all of it works together. For your convenience, we'll also be dropping the relevant links. Actually, I've already told. So we'll also hope this has given you a clear picture of how Luneblaze can support your schools in implementing SCOR framework smoothly and effectively. Now, we'll be moving towards our prestigious clients. Okay, this is not showing up at all. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, we'll moving to the next slide. It's not showing up at all. Moving further, as I mentioned on screen, the upcoming month, another SCOR webinar session will be conducted, which will be on beneficiary satisfaction. So please mark your calendars to attend that as well, and we look forward to welcome you again with the same excitement and with the same vigor. Now, moving on to the final Q&A session. Let's get your all questions answered. So please continue putting your questions chat box. Starting with that, we'll first try to address the ones we have with us. I think we don't have.
Yamita ma'am has question, no?
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, I'll read out, I think. And documents are not to be uploaded for SCOR, but self-improvement plan is to be submitted. Can you guide regarding the same? Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, ma'am, you must be having your school improvement plan. Do you have a school improvement plan? Yamita ma'am, can you unmute yourself? Yes, okay. You have a school improvement plan. So, on what areas you have built your school improvement plan? Ma'am, if you can unmute and talk. I'm not allowed to unmute. Okay.
I am also not allowed.
Okay. Okay. So let us look at the how the schools are developing the school improvement plan. So if in your existing school you have a baseline data, right? Suppose there are suppose 6 areas of your school improvement. Maybe students outcome, safety of the school, personal development of the school, maybe the
Ma'am,
leadership area.
excuse me, ma'am. Now they can unmute. Now everybody can unmute. So I'll open that feature. Okay,
Yeah,
if
I'm
anybody,
just coming to that timeline elaboration also coming. Okay.
okay,
Then the leadership area, and also you can talk about the tolerance policy in the school, because nowadays CBSE is very strict about the zero tolerance, the corporal punishment. So suppose you take these 6 or 5 areas of the school improvement. For example, at the current situation, if you look at the safety area of the safety and security of the school or well-being of your school, this is the area. At current situation, suppose in your school there are the, if you are recorded, there are 5 cases of bullying. So this is becomes the baseline for you to develop your school improvement plan. If there are 5 cases of bullying in the school, so what will be your goal now in your school improvement plan for this well-being area or the safety area of your school or safety domain of your school? To eradicate the bullying cases. By what time? That you have to decide. What measures you are taking, what actions you are taking to eradicate or to remove or to to remove these bullying cases of your school. So there comes your school improvement plan. There needs to be school improvement plan for all standards. That is a pedagogical plan, ma'am. So as a pedagogical, some comment was there. So let me finish first with the school improvement plan for this safety area. So when there are 5 cases, that is a baseline for you to plan an action or plan a goal. For this area, I want to eradicate the bullying cases in my school by end of this month or by end of 3 months. So that becomes a smart goal for to drive your actions. And accordingly, you will take actions in your school. You arrange some awareness programs for the students. Anti-bullying committee has to be established. Teachers have to be very vigilant in the school. The students have to have a suggestion boxes in the school so that the students ask their query in the way, and that will help you to plan your school improvement plan in this area. Similarly, there has to be improvement plans, how the academic performance of the school will improve. The basic data, suppose the last year examination data is with you in the school. Taking that data as a baseline, you will come to know, if you interpret that data, last year's examination data, you will come to know what percentage of students fall above 80%, what percentage of students fall above 60%, and in this current year, what is your goal? What percentage of students should fall above 80%? That you have to set, and accordingly, you have to make your pedagogical planning. So this is what a school improvement plan has to be designed in the school with respect to the SQAAF framework, so that you have this school improvement plan in all the domains of the schools, all the area of the school, whether it is a leadership area, whether it is a management of the area, or whether it is a zero tolerance policy, whether it is a curriculum area, whether it is a safety of the school, whether it is a personal development of the school. Personal development or holistic development of the student. So this is how you have to develop your school improvement plans. Taking the baseline data, where is the school at present and where you want to be in future. Whether it has to be in within a 1 month time, or it requires an entire time. And how this responsibility, the actions which are you have defined in your improvement plan is been assigned or delegated to other teachers through the committee formation. There is a committee for the safety, there is a committee for the discipline, there is a committee for the personal development, looking at the holistic development of the teacher, and how these responsibilities are being shared, and how these teachers and the stakeholders are responsible and accountable to show that improvement, whatever they have documented in the school improvement plan. Anything else, Yamita ma'am?
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Basically, suppose now I'm talking about the suppose 1.2. There was a 1.2.4 key. The student some point it is that the student teacher ratio should be 1:40 or 1:35. Like in our school, the student ratio is not that, but it will take time to bring down to that ratio. So we are working on it. So I just wanted to know what timeline should we be putting it in, basically when we are making our self-improvement plan. Can we write the timeline as it will take, because I think it will take around 7 to 8 years to bring down to that ratio, because right from first standard, the ratio has been 50.
Okay.
50:1. So
Yeah.
now we cannot remove the students from our school. So bringing that ratio to 1:35 or 1:40 down the line, it will take some time. So can the timeline can be like 7 to 8 years?
Yeah. So you know your school infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know the resources of the schools.
Yes.
Teachers, number of teachers, number of students, the classrooms available. What are the trustees talking about? Are they ready to give you another classroom so that 50 students can be broken into 25 batch size,
No.
class size?
We
So
don't have.
this is all you are aware.
Yeah.
So you know about the resources. Accordingly, you can set your timeline.
So that's what I'm asking. Can we set the timeline for around 8 years? Will that be okay?
No, but your improvement plan is for 1 year,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
In this 1 year from 25 for this academic year, what change you can bring? That you mentioned. If this is not achieved in this year, this goal can be continued in next year.
Okay. That means we have to give a timeline maximum of 1
Yes.
year. Okay.
Yes, because the school improvement plan is meant for 1 year.
Okay.
And this improvement plan, if the one has to be doable. So
Okay.
certain kind of improvement, if you are saying this is the challenge of 50 students and maintaining that ratio is a challenge. So what are your action steps to address this challenge? That has to be formulated very clearly in your improvement school improvement plan.
Okay.
And what are the things you have achieved? And the remaining things which are not achieved can be carried forward for the next year.
Okay.
But
And now,
you cannot show a timeline of 8 years in one academic improvement plan.
yeah, understood.
1 year, because all school improvement plans are for 1 year.
Okay.
If the actions or if the goals are not been achieved, these goals are carried forward for the next year.
Okay.
But
And-
you list out under every goal, you list out your actions so that you are focused that this action is achieved, this action is achieved, this action is yet to be achieved. So what else I have to do to achieve this action? And if it is not achieved, it can be taken to the next year. You have to mention the reason why this action is not achieved, whether the grants were not there or the funds were not there, or permission was not there, or the teachers left, or the students were admitted in mid of the year. So all kind of evidences you have to provide why this action was not reached. And then only your goal, what you have set for the year, will have some weightage and some value.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise, putting on a paper just for the sake of putting, because the CBSE is asking for the self improvement plan.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any value, just writing for the sake of somebody's asking us to do. But it has to make it realistic, very relevant with our school scenarios.
Okay. And one more, ma'am, the same thing, for example, because there is one more column called prioritization, whether it is low, medium, or high. So can we put like, now this we cannot achieve it. So can we grade it as L, low prioritization?
At present is low,
Because,
but again,
yeah,
because school
maybe-
improvement plans are the live documents.
Yeah.
So at present, you are saying that this priority, this is at the lowest level. But
Because-
as the months pass, as the days pass, it can move to the middle level.
Yeah. Maybe
So
by
you
next.
can, because school improvement plans are the live documents, right?
Yeah.
So goal is set, goal is fixed, but your action steps can be reworked.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It can be reworked and rechanged. You can change it.
Yeah.
Because action steps, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So how you're modifying those action steps to achieve your ultimate goal, which you have planned for that particular area.
Okay.
So that's
And-
why we keep school improvement plan as a live document, as a living document for the school to work on. Right?
And one more, ma'am, the team and the team that is working on it. So which teams, the names that we can suggest? Like for example, the same like teacher-student ratio. So
Hmm.
here the team that we can suggest now, because there is a column for team also, the team which is working on it.
It is it is a collaborative work. So
Yeah.
leaders cannot be everywhere. Leaders are there to monitor.
Yeah.
So there has to have teams or the committees. For example, there are for curriculum and pedagogies.
Yeah.
There has to be a team of HODs or the coordinator and some class teachers.
Yeah.
So they look into that area of the school. There has to be a team of teachers or one of two leaders or the second level leaders, which looks into the safety and security of the school. So this team works in that area, and during your meetings, your school improvement plan meetings, they come up with the progress or the challenges when they try to implement the actions in that areas.
So we need not name the team, but can we write the name of the teachers then who are
Yes,
working on
you
it?
can. But
Okay.
what happens, sometimes it happens that the teachers in between, they leave the school.
Yeah.
So that the name is not valid for whenever the CBSE is looking at that document.
Okay.
So you can categorize class teachers or the senior teachers or the coordinators or the HODs. So there has to be some responsible person who is taking responsibility of this particular area. But for your internal purpose, you have to name the teachers.
Yeah.
Because you have the class teachers. So you can
Yeah.
name which class teachers you want to put under this area.
Okay.
Which coordinators will be under this area. Which
Okay.
HODs has to be under this students outcome. Will look into students outcome. Which coordinators will look into the safety of the school, discipline of the school. So all this for internal purpose, you have to be very specific, because everybody's roles and responsibilities are defined. And nobody is confused. Nobody is lost whom to ask what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has to be very specific for your internal purpose. But for uploading purpose, you can mention about that. The class teachers, the subject HODs, or the coordinators, or the year leaders, or the VPs, or the principal. The principal is the overall in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is how you have to plan it out. You have to be very specific when it comes to documentation.
And one more last, ma'am.
Yes.
If the aspirational level, the level of maturity is already at the higher level, that is the level 4.
Whose maturity?
The standards of every
Fine.
subdomain is having a
Yes,
standard.
standard. Yes.
So standard, if I already, our school is having the level of the maturity as a dynamic, already the level 4. So we need not put it down into the, the self-improvement plan.
Why? You have
Or
to sustain that.
We still have to put that into the self-improvement.
Yes, you have to sustain that. That is your self-evaluation, that you are at the highest level, level 4.
Yeah.
But suppose the external team comes
Okay.
and they find that this is what the school has overrated themselves.
Okay.
And that's why those performance indicators are being defined by the SQAAF, so that the school as well as external agency or the external member from the CBSE are on the same page. the interpretation of these levels for everybody is same. And that's why those indicators are being defined for all the schools, for all the external members who are auditing this.
All right.
So when you are saying you are at the highest level,
Means we
what
are
are the
celebrating. Yeah.
yes. So what are the evidences you have gathered to showcase, to show to the external person that yes, our school is at the level 4.
Okay.
So if the external audit team or the inspection team also sees, yes, the evidences are properly maintained, the external team also will rate you at the highest level. But if there are certain things which are missing, then the external team can say, no, you are at the middle level. Because the indicators are clearly defined by the SQAAF framework. So that everybody interprets the same. And there are no arguments and anything. So external members can clearly tell you, yes, this is missing. How you can say your school is at the 4th level. So that's why there has to be a proper evidences, proper documentation. Whatever you are saying, it is properly maintained in the school.